Another issue the session is centered on is how much authority that the state should have over local governments and public institutions. Florida lawmakers already restricted diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at public university, but a bill passed this session extended those limits to cities and counties. It prohibits local governments from funding or promoting DEI initiatives. At the same time, other measures were approved that would block local governments from adopting net zero climate policies. Those aim to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The state is also coming down on local leaders around immigration enforcement. Just this week, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier warned Tampa Mayor Jane Castor that the state could seek her removal from office. Uthmeier claims that Tampa city policies may conflict with state immigration law. Mike, I'd like to start with you. This was a real big surprise to many, including, they said, at City Hall. They were not expecting this. They did not see this coming.
They didn't expect it because they are participating with a 287G agreement with the federal agencies, and they had up to this point felt that they were cooperating. But Uthmeier flagged them on some, department policies where if they're trying to figure out who committed a crime, they get to talk to witnesses, and those identities are protected. And a lot of times, those witnesses help solve crimes involving Americans.
Right. The letter that Uthmeier said cited two different policies. It said that officers are barred from sharing immigration information on crime victims or witnesses with federal immigration officials. And then the second thing that he cited in his letter was that the police department is limiting the participation of what he called broad-based immigration enforcement actions. The victims, releasing the victims or the witnesses information is something that the police department has said that may be counterproductive to advancing investigations, to completing and solving these crimes. Victor, how do you think that this will play out within the Hispanic community?
Well, right now, the Hispanics that I deal with every day, day in and day out, throughout the county, the state, or wherever, they're scared to death as it is. They're not even leaving their homes. They're scared to take their kids to school. They're scared to take the kids to the doctor, or do grocery shopping. So the police rely on people to help them identify crimes or victims of crimes, and they don't want to cooperate with the police. They're already scared as it is, because according to this, they could, if they have to turn that information over, next thing you know, they're going to knock on the door from ICE, and that's the last thing they want to deal with. And that's what's sad. I mean, the Republicans have really overreached on this issue, and it's becoming a big liability for them. And I think Uthmeier, thanks to the great work of the Tampa Bay Times and just exposing his that $10 million or $30 million scam that he pulled. This is just a deflection to put,
And you're referring to the Hope Florida.
The Hope Florida scandal. I mean, it was huge. He's front and center, the top guy that did all that mess for the whole state of Florida.
And it is important to say that not all Republicans are in favor of this, would agree. That the mayor, Tampa Mayor Jane Castor, is participating in anything that even resembles a sanctuary city. How is this going to play out?
Well, one, I don't think that the mayor is going to get removed. I think she's got a year left, and I think that this is a great headline to maybe intimidate other cities, other counties that may not be cooperating with the federal agencies. And I do think that, when we start talking about ICE, when we start talking about deportations, this invokes such emotion for a lot of people that they get up in arms over it. But if in any other case you said to somebody, well, the city's not giving the names to the federal agents, oh, we're not cooperating with the FBI, we're not cooperating with them, you would say, why is the city not cooperating? But in this case, because it's deportations, because it's emotional, now people are saying, well, maybe you shouldn't cooperate them. But there's a picking and choosing, and if we're either going to cooperate with the federal agencies or we're not, and right now that's our federal policy, we should be cooperating with ICE, and we should be. And if people are, scared to leave their homes, I'm sorry, they're probably not here legally, and which means that then it's a problem. If you're here legally, you don't have anything to worry about. People are not. I know what sometimes people read in the news and online and everything, but people are not being deported because they are here legally. They're being
There are
deported
so many
because
people,
they are.
I have to disagree with you. There's so many people that get caught in that web. Well, that's why this whole issue. Look at they killed 2 Americans. One guy that was
shouldn't
lying
be
on the
out there
street.
pushing
They
ICE
killed
officers as
they
a-
killed a man in cold blood on the street, 10 bullets, and they took his gun away from him, and they killed him. All right, this is what's turned the entire United
I
States.
think a concern is if a crime is committed, you want to encourage witnesses to come forward.
Right.
And this does, you
puts
talk
a-
to any investigator, and
puts
this
ice on it.
does kind
But
of.
this has always been an issue. I don't think this is new with ICE. I remember seeing Law and Order episodes about this from 20 years ago.
Right.
People are not here legally; they don't cooperate. If people are also, doing something illegal, maybe it's not just their citizenship, they don't cooperate with the police. So I think it's an ongoing issue, and I think that it's hard to say that the city shouldn't participate with what federal agencies are asking for. They should be in full cooperation, regardless of your political opinions.
But this
about
dragnet that ICE puts on, they're getting a lot of really people that are citizens. Half these people I'm talking to, they're citizens. They have their papers. They're naturalized citizens, and they're still scared to death that if you look Hispanic, since the courts agree that if he speaks Spanish, he looks a little Hispanic, I can still stop him.
But
I can still question him.
they are afraid because people come onto TV and they say you need to be afraid and we're going to put you in jail or we're going to deport you, when that's just not the case. And if people would stop saying, like, if you're you should be scared, stay in your home, then they wouldn't be. I think that we do a lot of fear mongering. And look, if you are illegal or you're harboring someone in your home who's here illegally, like, you probably do have something to be afraid of. But that's the policy.
They have this big quota they have to fill, so that's what this is. This is not fake. This is real. This is going on right here, right now in our community, and people around the country are scared to death. So yes, the Hispanics are scared because we're the ones being targeted.